Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, all subscribers, viewers, and supporters of this channel. We are still in environmental management training. We are doing ISO 14001 version 2015. Right. Identification. What is it? We have done it. If you are new in this channel, please take a look at our earlier publications titled Input Output Analysis. All right. So for those who are new in this channel, we are doing identification of environmental aspects in our previous videos on input output analysis. You are welcome. You have got the luxury to look at it. In this video, however, we are summarizing the knowledge gathered in the input-output analysis and methodology we used in identification of environmental aspects. So this is a summary for that. Now, before we go on, I'd like to implore all my Muslim brothers and sisters, please do not watch this video, especially during the khutbah of Friday prayers and also when you are attending any religious lessons for that matter. Thank you very much. I love you. I wish you Jannatul Naim. Now let's take a look. Let's go on into the next slide. This is familiar to you if you have been following our input-output analysis. I call this the dashboard. This is the environmental aspects impact register. Okay, and we have what they call all these evaluation criteria. This is the evaluation. And before we are able to do evaluation, we have all our environmental aspects listed here. There you are. For example, boiler unit is an environmental aspect. Why? You should be able to explain it by now if you have followed the input-output analysis. Fuel is an environmental aspect. Damaged parts are environmental aspects, and these are their respective environmental impact that this aspect could cause. Okay, now this is actually resource depletion over here. Doesn't matter. This is the format of the aspects impact register, and this is what we're going to do. Let's take a look at the next slide. Once we have got our risk and opportunity over here, this is the basis for our environmental objective. This is the dashboard. You're familiar with this by now. Now I'm just picking some examples before we get to the part of this presentation. Let me recap again. The implementation of ISO 14001 is very important for the organization, for our organization to know our position in as an entity in a particular country, in a particular region. We got to know who are our interested parties. That's the context of the organization, and we know why we exist. What is it for? What do we serve? Okay, and we have done this. The input-output analysis, we have already identified this. What is it? Environmental aspect. This is most important. We have identified it based on the methodology input-output analysis, as I mentioned earlier. And in this next few videos, we are going to do evaluation. A method. All right, so this is in order for us to identify this, how significant is the environmental impact caused by our respective environmental aspects. Therefore, we call them significant environmental aspect because they cause significant impact. And we have done this. Risk and opportunity for each environmental aspect that we have. Okay, and after we have done that, we sum them up in a summary, as you saw before this, the dashboard. That is the impact register. Then our company will pursue in developing our environmental policy. Once that is done, we get back to our environmental aspects impact register to develop what? objective and targets, okay, and how to achieve it. Who, do what, when, and how much. Environmental management program. So that we're able to arrive to what is called our intended outcome over here, which would consist of what? Enhancements of environmental performance, fulfillment of all our compliance obligation, and to ensure that we are able to achieve our environmental objective. This should be three major things within our intended outcome, what we should achieve. Okay, now as far as the environmental management is concerned, let us recap what the definition is, just in case we might get lost along the way. It is about ISO 14001 version 2015 is about managing what? It's all there. Remember this. We are managing environmental aspects. How? By fulfilling compliance obligation and addressing risk and opportunity. That is the conception, the concept of environmental management. In reality, we got to translate all this into our objectives, targets, and environmental management program. And in practice, it has got to be translated into our operational control. Got it? Okay. This is a very important definition as discussed in earlier slides. Environmental aspects. It's element of our organizational activities, product or services that interact or can interact with the environment. Okay, it's a substance, item, it's a matter, it's a product, it's a waste, it's a machine, it's parts of machines. Anything that interacts or can interact with the environment is environmental aspects. Process name like printing, dyeing, okay, painting, mixing, cutting. These are all elements of our organization's activities. These are all activities, okay, that involves environmental aspects. So I hope by now you have this well captured and understood. Okay, now as far as the environmental aspects impact evaluation is concerned, it is a very important process for us to determine significant environmental aspects. And this video is an overall, I should say, video for the upcoming videos on environmental evaluation technique. So we are right there. I'm going to show you a kind of evaluation technique that I have developed since 1997. Of course, we've gone through a lot of failure, and the one that I am showing you in this next few videos are tested with 17 different types of industry, and for each category of industry we have tested at least 2 industries, and of course during this test there are some adjustments, and finally it has got arrived to what we have right now that I'm able to share with you. Okay, so remember this: targets and environmental management program is a subset, is belonging to planning to achieve as per stipulated in ISO 14001 version 2015. Now this is a recap of the input-output analysis, which we have done in earlier videos. Just in case you just joined us in this video, you have the luxury to look back at all these other videos that we have displayed before you over there on the right side of this particular on your right side over there. Now, input, anything that comes into our process, and a boiler itself, a unit boiler, is an environmental aspect. There you are. These are all environmental aspects. Okay, fuel, air, water, chemicals, boiler unit, auxiliaries, other materials, chemicals, etc. These are all environmental aspects that enter the steam generation process. Boiler is an equipment. The process is steam generation. So these are all the output environmental aspects. Why? Because all these environmental aspects interact with the environment and causes environmental impact. It could be adverse environmental impact. It could be beneficial environmental impact. So this has been discussed earlier. Please take a look at those videos that we have published. Now, this is what I want to share with you at this moment of time, whereby as a summary, I'm displaying what you may arrive after you have done the input-output analysis, and you have a format like this, perhaps in your master register of input-output analysis, and you can have a summary like this throughout the entire organizational process, okay, departments, or preferably processes. Okay, in this particular example, one of our clients split it into different types of sectors for convenience. In this case, warehouse over here. Warehousing is an activity. Okay, warehouse. So what are the inputs? All these materials are input: warehouse, civil structures, metal, wooden racks, forklifts, plastic and wooden pallets, materials and products, etc. These are entering the warehouse. Okay, and what leaves the warehouse are damaged civil structures because they got to do repair, and damaged metal and wooden rack parts, emissions of forklift. There you are. Okay, and there's a forklift here too as input. So what is output? Emission from forklift, perhaps diesel forklift, and damaged parts of the forklifts. Damaged plastic and wooden pallets are outgoing materials and product. Well, not outgoing, it's outgoing actually. Typo error. Damaged electrical wires and connectors, and many others. Okay, this is those common consumable parts that has been discussed when they do input-output analysis for warehousing. The same thing for wet scrubber. So this is what I would expect to have as an initial stage of the input-output analysis, giving you the idea. But actually, we went more detail. Okay, I will show you later. Wet scrubber, what is it? Input, output. Dust collector, what's input, output? Printing, there. This is an activity, not an aspect. Okay, what comes into printing? Take a look. Paper, printer itself, printing cartridge, toner, electrical energy. These are all inputs. Okay, I hope you see the point now. Printing is not an aspect, it is an activity. Now, printed paper, there you are. Reject paper, used cartridge, noise, light and heat are all output environmental aspects. So we got to remember we got to know which is input and output environmental aspects. The same thing with industrial effluent treatment system or wastewater treatment plant. What the entire treatment plant is an environmental aspect, assembled together, built and installed as IETS or wastewater treatment plant. That unit is an environmental aspect. Air for the blower, chemical, coagulant, flocculant. These are all environmental aspect, electrical energy, influence, and of course, our competent person goes around for a walk around IETS with a portable meter to test for COD, BOD, not BOD, COD, dissolved oxygen, pH, etc. Now, treated effluent, these are all outputs from IETS. Filter cakes. If you couple filter press as part of IETS, then this is correct. But if filter press is classified as a separate unit, then we should have this in a separate input-output analysis. But you can have it in one convenience sake. Okay, damaged pump, damaged pipes, of course, clogging, etc. All this can break and blow off, belting. Yeah, okay, these are all output environmental aspects. So this is the entire picture of the input output analysis, and these are all the environmental aspects listed as inputs on the left and listed as outputs on the right. I hope you're clear, because after this we are not discussing why is it an environmental aspect anymore. If you do not understand why it is an environmental aspect, please go back to earlier videos and try and understand, because we are going to look into evaluation later on. Nonetheless, before I go on into evaluation, there is something very important that I must state, whereby we need to, if our organization is really serious in their environmental management system and that they want to ensure sustainable business, I'm talking about cost reduction, I'm talking about efficiency of operation, and I'm talking about optimization of the use of raw materials, okay, and smart way of handling so-called waste. All right, we have got to make sure we know where we are going, and before we know where we are going, we must know, our organization must know in terms of their environmental position where they are now, because we need to navigate our environmental management system to a certain destination. Remember, intended outcome. That is the destination that we have got to bring our company to in terms of environment. So it is important for us to understand, just like a ship when they're sailing, they've got to know where they are now and where they are going by having a what? Navigation tool. And the most popular navigation tool is this compass. Now, how do we translate that to environmental management system? In environmental management system, look, let's say we are talking about electrical energy. We must know how much energy we are consuming now. But if you look at it carefully, I have added per metric ton. This is accurate quantification of environmental aspects. What environmental aspects? Electrical energy. For this company that I consult, and for all the company who knows me, some of them are watching probably. I know some of them are complaining it's tedious, but do it right the first time. That's what I believe in. Otherwise, I'm not into doing it just for the sake of certification, and then it is being revoked, or then we got a redundant NCR over and over. I hate all that. For me, do it right the first time. Navigate properly. So I would normalize all my environmental aspects. Quantify environmental aspects. That's what I'm doing. I quantify all my environmental aspects. Not just that, I tie the quantum of my environmental aspects to the business interest. What's the business interest? Product. Why product? Businesses are selling products for margins. And with margins, businesses are sustainable. Businesses exist for profit. Without profit, it's better for them to wind up. Got the point? And businesses are using raw mats, which they have got to purchase to convert them into product that is sold above the cost for the margin to ensure that they are able to upkeep operational costs for the company and have margins for profit. Doing business without profit is nonsense. It's like what I'm doing now. Okay, now take a look. If we know we are using 400 kilowatt hour for every metric ton of product that we are producing, then when we talk about continual improvement, if possible, we try to bring it down to have a target which is as specific as this. Can we achieve it? In this particular case, to be honest with you, we run a questionnaire before we come up with that target. Before we say, let us reduce electrical energy to 350 kilowatt hour per metric ton. Before we got that figure, we have run questionnaire throughout the production. We have done energy audit to look at which equipment, which apparatus, which production line, which equipment is actually not off, or in practice they didn't turn off the machine and the machine is idling using electrical energy, and where all these procedures are not complied with that amount to loss of electrical energy. We run an audit. We know every equipment's electrical rating because we run energy audit. That is how we come up with, we had meetings and we really take a look. We have an initial calculation of what are the potential saving that we can have. And we found that we can save more than, we can do more, better than this actually. We are able to achieve 280 kilowatt hour per metric ton, but we lift them up to ensure that that particular target is not so much pain to achieve. It is about nurturing operational personnel who handles all these machines that uses a lot of electrical energy. So and after a few rounds of brainstorming, we come up with 350 kilowatt hour per metric ton. This is the most accurate way of quantifying environmental aspects, not just kilowatt hour, but we tie it with metric ton. Then this makes sense to the financial controller, who's a chartered accountant. Well, I did environmental accounting before, so I'm just implementing what I knew over here. I hope you're able to catch the ball and able to follow me. Now, in this particular illustration, I'm just trying to show, to give some awareness to all of us who are intending to have the establishment of environmental management system ISO 14001 version 2015 to be just in your work, to be accurate in your work. Otherwise, you got to rework, you got to do corrections and rework a job that you have completed. For me, it's nonsense. We have got to move forward, not get into reverse gear and get back to day one and rework. I don't like it. For me, do it right the first time. And if you want to do it right the first time, this is how you do it. You got to make sure that your work is accurate, uncompromising. Okay, and that is why I'm not so popular to many staff in company. But the CEO and the financial controller likes me so much. But the steering committee, the wage earner, for them this is a bit, you know, uh, tedious. But some did follow, and those did follow. I think they know me, and in fact, in this country, the shipyard is the first shipyard. One example that I can brag is the first shipyard in, if not Asia, Southeast Asia, certified for 2001 before they changed management. But I don't want to talk about it. So it depends on the person what they understand, you know. So this is most important. What I'm trying to say is that we need to have what? Accurate. Accuracy is important, and when you got accurate environmental aspect quantification, you're able to develop accurate targets. And this means a lot to company. And correct me if I'm wrong. Now, as far as accuracy is concerned, there are numerous ways that I have used to display examples, and these are just some of them. I want you to think about it. Do not just argue with me if you don't really have that material of argument, because I've been in this position. I've made mistakes before, and I'm telling you, I've learned from all my mistakes. That is why I'm confident enough to produce this video. Well, in most quantification endeavor that I saw initially, most of us would be contented with this. For example, spent solvent. Let's take one simple example. It might not be related to you, but as an example. Spent solvent are being produced as an output environmental aspects, quantum at 200 liter per month. What does it mean? Actually, in environmental management, it's just 200 liter of spent solvent per month. Okay, fine. But to businesses, what does it mean? Does that 200 liter per month of spent solvent related to a big margin or high production rate, or is it low production rate? If we set a target, an environmental aspect, for example, we set a target 200 liter per month. If there is a lot of abuse and misuse or spillage or leftover, and producing, say, only a 10-ton of product, and you are generating 200 liter of spent solvent per month, then that could be a benchmark for you. But what if there's another company who produce the same amount of spent solvent waste, 200 liter per month, but their production throughput is 10,000 tons of product, which is more efficient, which has more hazardous waste minimization. Definitely, example number two, the one that produces 10,000 metric ton of product and only producing 200 liter of spent solvent compared to 1,000 metric ton product per month, but producing 200 liters of spent solvent. That is why I would usually tie this up. This and this product. Then your environmental aspect quantification is giving you the accurate position of where you All right, now, so that it is easy for us to go for continual improvement, for example, having a target of 3, so for example, 3, say, 0.5 liter of solvent per metric ton product. This would be a more accurate target for waste minimization or hazardous waste minimization, and also a more accurate target too for this particular environmental aspect for our environment, to complement our environmental objectives, probably to reduce waste. This is why quantification in the accurate form is important when we want to do an accurate environmental management system. We can set target and work towards it. But if you just put liter per month, what if the production went down and you produces only say 100 liter per month? Oh, we have achieved the target, but production went down by more than 50%. The company suffer. Remember, company is about businesses. They're paying your paycheck, and you got to ensure optimization of your work in the company to ensure sustainable businesses. I hope you're able to capture what I'm trying to get at, so you can take a look at all the others. Okay, you can pause this video and take a look at all the others. These are real examples taken from my clients. Therefore, we have got another what they call method here. Another client of ours, they're talking about their industrial effluent treatment system, and this is their work. And the environmental aspects they have is a combine of input and output and environmental aspects. As you can take a look, as you can see now, ETS, the entire unit is one system. Okay, air, how much metric ton, how much meter cube per metric ton of products? Air, because air is measurable. In some instances, not all. Okay, I've seen areas where you can't quantify air. Never mind, skip it. Don't force yourself to quantify it without by investing on equipment which does not actually amount to sustainable business. Okay, and coagulant, this is quantifiable. How much coagulant, poly PAC, what we call this, polyaluminum chloride. How much of polyaluminum chloride is used per metric ton of product? You've got to calculate. You must know the production throughput and how long it takes to produce that tonnage of product, and during that period how much of coagulant is used. Simple maths. How much metric ton is produced in that period and how much PAC is used in that period, and tie it to per metric ton. It's just a simple division process of arithmetics. That's all. The rest, take a look. Electrical energy, influent, there you are. Treated effluent, okay. All right. All these are tied to per unit product or per metric ton of product. What is applicable to you? Because some companies, they go by the pieces because they sell by the pieces. In some companies, they sell by metric ton. So you got to discuss with your financial controller, your accounts department, how is it being done? Because all these figures per metric ton of product or per unit product, they keep how much profit the company is making. They know about it. The same thing when we do environmental management system, we need to know how much of these environmental aspects are involved in the production of per metric ton of our product or per unit of our product. Simple as that. I hope this is adequate for your comprehension. This old man has gone through all this, all the years, and we have tried this system for those 17 types, 17 classification of industries, and for each classification we have tried and sampled it between 2 to 5 organizations per classification, so you could imagine how much that we have tried all this plus. And this is how we derive to our environmental management evaluation technique, environmental aspects, impact evaluation technique, which is coming in the next few videos. So I believe we are going to do evaluation in the next video, and I hope you would be around again to be with us. I will share with you the different types of evaluation technique to ensure that we have accurate environmental aspects, and for us to understand what are the different types of evaluation criteria and how we come up with the definition and rating for each criteria. We are going to do evaluation in the next video, inshallah. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, subscribers, viewers, and supporters of this channel. As a Malay, end this video by wishing you semoga dikurniakan kesenangan, keselamatan, kesejahteraan, kebahagiaan, dan kejayaan di dunia dan di akhirat. Until we meet in the next video, I wish everybody Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.